is up, boys and girls? Happy days, because it's math days. Today, we are going to talk about comparing and ordering integers, exponents, square roots, and absolute value. If you've seen any of my compare and order videos, you know I like to build these up. So we've started with comparing and order integers, and now we're moving on to adding a couple more layers, exponents, square roots, and absolute value. Then it builds up to adding scientific notation, adding negative exponents, and eventually we work our way all the way up to adding and comparing and ordering all numbers in the real number system. So let's get good at this. All right. Also, I've been really working on a construction joke. Never mind. I'm still working on it. You know that's funny. And if you don't, it's because you don't understand the joke. And the joke is about construction, which is building and making. And it says I'm still working on it. So the joke's not ready because I'm still constructing it. And here we go. All right. So today, compare and order integers, exponents, square roots, and absolute value. All right. So we're going to talk about comparing them, which means which one's bigger, which one's smaller. And we're going to talk about ordering them, like putting them in order from the smallest to the largest or largest to the smallest. And we have fun little vocabulary words about those called ascending order. So ascending means you start at the bottom, the small, and you work your way to the top. And descending order, start at the top, the big numbers, and work your way down. All right, let's go. So, like I said, there's already a video out there about comparing and ordering integers. And so the only difference between what we're doing right now is sometimes they don't give you an integer. But if we turn them into integers, we're right back to the things we know how to do. So for example, let's look at this one right here. We have an integer somewhere. Where is that integer that we see? It's right here. All right, so we already have -3. Can we turn the absolute value of -9 into an integer? Sure we can. Remember, when we're talking about absolute value, all we do is just change the words. We see those two straight lines going up and down here. We see this guy, and we say, all right, let's go. That's absolute value. And how do I say that? We say, how far away is -9 from 0? And then that makes our life easier. So we just turned an absolute value into an integer. Now we can compare these integers. Which one's bigger, 9 or -3? That's right, it would be 9. So 9's our bigger one. So we would put, boom shakalaka, we'd put that guy right there. Okay, let's do this. Are either of these integers? Not yet, but we're going to get them there. So we have the absolute value of 85. Reword it. How far is 85 away from 0? Boom, it is 85 away from 0. And then we have 3 to the third. So we have a base 3. We have an exponent to the third, which means we multiply it by itself that many times, okay? So let's do that. Now we have 3 times 3, which equals 9. So we still have one more 3 to multiply by. And so we have 9 times 3, which equals 27. Okay, so this 3 to the third power now becomes 27. It's an integer, and we know how to compare integers. So let's go ahead. What's bigger, 85 or 27? That's right, 85 is bigger than 27. Let's try one more, okay? We have a square root and we have a square. So let's deal with each one of those and turn them into integers. Let's do it, turn them back into the things that we like. What is 12 squared? Well, 12 squared means we take 12, we multiply it by itself because the exponent says twice. And when we do that, we get 144. All right, so you have to figure out your multiplication ways to get to 12 times 12 equals 144. Some of you know those as your times tables. It's just memorize. It is a perfect square, which you should definitely be trying to memorize. Some of you may have to do box method to figure out 12 times 12. Some of you may do the standard algorithm, which is, if you've ever heard that phrase, that it's 12 times 12, and we multiply them vertically like that. But we just did it, and we know that 12 times 12 is equal to 144. Okay, so we know we have an integer over here that equals 144. Okay, and so then over here we have the square root of 144. And the square root of 44 simply says what times what equals 144. Well, just so happens in this problem, we already solved that moments ago. So what times what equals 144? That would be 12. And guess what? We have two integers that we can compare. And when we compare them, we find out that 144 is definitely bigger than 12. All right, we got one more problem. We're going to now put them in order. And so when directions say place the following in order, and it says ascending order, that means we're going from the smallest up to the biggest, okay? From the smallest to the biggest. So let's turn all of our values into integers first, What's 4 to the third? Well, that simply means 4 times 4 times 4. Okay? And again, you're going to have to get into your multiplication methods. This is 4 times 4, which equals 16. That's a times table. And then 16 times 4 is not a times table, but use whatever method you have to get to the answer. We know that it is 64. Okay? So now we've got one answer. We know that 4 to the third equals 64. What is the absolute value question? How far away is negative 11 from 0? It is 11 away from 0. Got that one figured out. Next up, we got negative 12. That's already an integer. Leave them alone. I'm going to skip this one, go down here because we also have already an integer. Leave it alone. Let's do this one then. We have the opposite of the square root of 81. All right, so what is the square root of 81? What times what equals 81? Okay, that's a times table question. So we know 9 times 9 equals 81. But it also says we want the opposite of that. So our answer is negative 9. The opposite of 9 is negative 9. And you know what we're going to do right now? We're going to go ahead and put those on our on our place value chart. I'm sorry, in our number line. Come on now, Tal, get it together. All right, so when we put things on the number line, we don't go with all this stuff that we just added over here on the right, all this red stuff. We don't do that. Whenever we want to put something in order, we're going back to our original forms of those numbers, okay? So let's do that. Let's take our first one. So 4 to the third equals 64. So let's put that on the number line. Well, our number line is not big enough. It just keeps, 64 is going to be way out there to the right, correct? So I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 to the third right here and know that it is down the number line at the point of 64, okay? Next one says the opposite, the absolute value of negative 11 is equal to 11. So I go to 11, that's a positive, so I'm going to the right of the 0. Here is 11. I'm just going to draw a line down and say this is the absolute value of negative 11, okay? Next we have negative 12. Where does that go? Well, we start at 0, and we work our way backwards until we get to negative 12. There it is, and we have negative 12. Then we have this one, which is the opposite of the square root of 81, which we found out to be negative 9. So let's go ahead and put this answer on the number line. So we go to negative 9, we go negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. So negative 9 is going to be directly in between there. So I'm going to put down, remember, I'm putting down what the problem stated, not how I turned it into an integer. And then finally, where is 9? So 9 goes where 9 is. So this would be 9. Okay, now I'm going to erase a few things just to let you know, like, you've done almost all the work. You've done the things you need to figure this bad boy out. Now all you got to do is do what the directions say. And the directions tell us to place the following in order, but it says ascending order. So we are going to start with the smallest one, which is over here, and we are going to say negative 12. And then we're going to say what's next? The opposite of the square root of 81. And then we're going to go next, which is here. That's going to be 9. And then we're going to go next, which is here. And we're going to say the absolute value of negative 11. And then we're going to go way out, then we're going to go way out yonder. And we are going to say that this one would be, whoops, that's what happened. This one will be this answer, which is 4 to the third. And now we've got them in an ascending order, smallest to biggest. All you got to do is turn your new types of numbers into integers and then put them in order. Use a number line as needed. You guys are ready to rock and roll. Okay, I got a big old mess to clean up. My dog, it ate all my Scrabble tiles. And if you don't know what Scrabble tiles are, it's that game where you have all the alphabet letters on it. Ate all my Scrabble tiles, and he just keeps leaving messages all around the house. That's a poo-poo joke. Ate the tiles, and when he leaves them, oh boy, we'll see you guys next time, rock stars. The doggy goes poo-poo.